Okay, again walking. Yes. I have assignment today and tomorrow. I have to read a book. The title is Tale of the Alhambra. And this book from Burlington English, the site. Um, yes. I just trying to read around this book, but I think it can possible. So wrong pronunciation, something word or naming because it has Muslim style naming on the book and I feel a little struggle to make a pronunciation to put the naming. So this is very first time to read this book, but I just try read it. Chapter one. Okay, the title: Tales of the Alhambra Mm. More legacy. The subtitle, and here's the chapter one. Ah, Prizel, Prizel, meet a stranger. In the corner of the square of the Christians Plaza, there rose Archibald. There's an old Arab where cool clear water. In the past, water carrier traveled up and down the Alhambra hill all day to sell this water to people. Who wants water from the well of the Alhambra? They shouted. As cold as icy and clear as crystal. One of those water carriers was a man called Prazel. He had many hungry children to feed, and his crazy wife spent all his money. But Prazel loved his children and always worked hard. Finally, he bought a donkey to carry his water jar, and his wife was a little easier. No, his wife was a little easier. At the end of a long hot day, Fraser decided to make a one last journey up the hill to collect water. He arrived at the water and saw a stranger there. He was a Muslim in Moorish clothing, and he was ill. Please help me, the stranger said. Can you donkey? Can your donkey carry me down to the town? Fraser helped the man on his donkey and took him to his house. But Fraser's wife was furious. Why did you bring a Muslim to our house? She shouted. It's dangerous for us. An inquisition will discourage him. But Fraser didn't listen to his wife. This poor man is ill, he said. I can't leave him alone on the hill. I'm dying, said the Muslim. Take this box as a reward for your charities. Then the Muslim died. The empress's wife cried, "Now they think we killed him," she said. "They will send us to prison Fraser was frightened. He and his wife took the Muslim's body to the river Genil to hide it before day night. Daylight. Chapter 2. Fraser goes to court. Unfortunately, a gossiping barber lived across from Fraser. He looked out of his window and saw Fraser and his wife carrying the Muslim's body. This is very interesting, he thought. The next day, the barber was very excited. The mayor arrived for a haircut and heard all the news. I think there was a robbery and somebody died at my neighbor's house last night, the barber told the mayor. The mayor was a very serious man. He imagined the rod of gold in Fraser's house. He he sent his servant to bring Fraser and his wife to the court. Fraser told his story to the mayor and showed him the box. There was a piece of per- parchment and a small candle inside it. The mayor decided Priso and his wife were innocent. He he let them go home, but he took Priso's donkeys to pay for court cost. Now, poor Priso carried the water jar on his back every day. One day, he was very tired and he threw the box on the floor. The candle and the parchment fell out. He looked at them curiously. Why were they important to the Muslim? He thought. He looked at the Arabic writing on the parchment, but he didn't understand the words. So he took it to a Muslim shop in Jankatin Street. Can you translate this for me? He asked the owner. This is a spell to recover hidden treasure. The owner said, try it in the tower on the Alhambra Hill. People often talked about wonderful treasure hiding in the tower of the seven floors on the Alhambra Hill. Where the story is true, please wanted to the answer. Please come with me to the tower right tonight. Please ask the Muslim shop owner. Maybe the spell can help us find the treasure there. Activity. Here is first time the activity. Traveled down, up and down the Alhambra Hill. Here, water carries. Please always work hard. Please saw a stranger at the wall. Frizzle brought the ill Muslim to his house. Muslim gave Frizzle a box. Turn the page. The gossiping barber lived across from Frizzle. The mayor was a very serious. It means greedy. A very serious man. The mayor decided the prisoner and his wife were innocent. Prisoner didn't understand the Arabic writing on the parchment. Fraser and the shop owner planned to go to the tower at night. Check up all the correct. Okay, next page. Chapter 3. Fraser finds the treasure. Fraser and the Muslim left for the Alhambra Hill and the mysterious tower. They arrived at the entrance and saw steps going up and steps going down. They went deeper in the tower to the room below, and last they arrived at the seventh level. There, there they took out the candle, and the Muslim began to read the word on the parchment. There was a sound of thunder, and the floor suddenly opened. There were steps under the floor, and these took them to an underground room. There was an enormous chest on the floor of the room with many beautiful jewels filled with gold and uh, precious jewels. The two men happily filled their pocket with the treasure. Then they ran back up the stairs quickly. At the seventh level, they blew out the candle and heard the sound of thunder as the floor closed again. After that, they ran home. Don't tell your wife about this, the wise Muslim warned Rizal. Rizal arrived home and his wife was furious. Where were you? And what do you have in your pocket? She shouted angrily. Fraser gave her a golden bracelet, and she was very surprised. Fraser decided to tell her the truth about the treasure in the tower. Of course, Fraser's wife were the jewels immediately, and the gossiping barber saw them. He took he talked to the mayor again. I'm sure he stole those jewels, said the barber. Chapter 4. Prizel is rich. Now the mayor asked Prizel about the jewels. Prizel told the truth, but the mayor didn't believe him and called the Muslim to his house. The Muslim was angry. What did you tell your wife? He shouted at Prizel. Then the Muslim said to the mayor, we know about this treasure, but nobody else does. Let's go there together and divide it between us. The mayor imagined that there was a lot of treasure, and he agreed to this plan. The mayor, his servant, and the barber went this prison, and the Muslim to the tower on the Alhambra hill. At the seventh level, priest lit the candle, and the Muslim read the Arabic writing. Again, there was a sound of thunder, and the floor opened. The mayor, the servant, and the barber were frightened to go down the step. So Priza and the Muslim went around. They peered their pocket and returned to the other. This is sufficient for us to carry now, they said. We'll return later for more. Of course, um, the very serious mayor. Of course, the very serious mayor servant and Barbara wanted the treasure, so they decided to go down the step themselves. They descended, and then the Muslim blew out the candle. Out the candle. Mm. Blew out. With the sound of thunder, the floor closed with the three very serious men inside. Why did you do that? Cried Frizzle, alarmed. It was Allah's will, said the wise Muslim. They will stay there forever now. Only another adventure can break the spell. Then he threw the candle into the river. The two men decided the treasure between them and left Granada. The Muslim went to Tang, Tang, Tangiers, Tangiers, and Fraser traveled to Portugal. Portugal. He changed his name to Dom Pedro Gil. Don Pedro Gil. His children grew strong and happy. His wife was also happy now with all her chores and fine clothes, so she didn't shout anymore. As for the mayor, the servant and the barber, they are still on the floor of the tower of the 7 floors, and they will stay there until the final judgment. Activity here. The towers on the Alhambra hill, and the Muslim began to read the word on the parchment. And the floor at the seventh level suddenly opened. Entrancega. 이렇게 플로어가 있고, 그 다음에 there were precious jewels inside the chest. Prince gave his wife a golden bracelet. The Muslim was angry because Prince told his wife about the treasure. The Muslim and Parisian went around and peered their pockets. The three men descended the step and the Muslim blew out the candle. The Muslim threw the candle into the river. Persia and the Muslim decided the treasure and left to Granada. Or the questions were incorrect. Okay. Here's another story. Maybe this book is the series with the small stories, short story, I mean. Okay, the subtitle is The Enchanted Soldier. Chapter 1, Don Vincent. Many years ago in Salamanca, Maybe here this is a city's name. Many years ago in Salamanca, there was a poor student called Don Vincent. He played the guitar and had a lovely voice. In those days, students played music, sang, and even begged for money to pay for their studies. Poor students often went to the convent and much time and drank soup. Because of these, people called them sophistas. Don Vincent was a very handsome, popular young man. In the summer, he traveled from town to town and played his beautiful music. The country people danced to his love songs and gave him money. One day, Don Vincent found an exotic exotic gold and silver ring on the ground. A gold ring! It must be very valuable, he exclaimed happily. I'm very lucky. He put the ring on his finger and returned home. It was the summer, and Don Vincent had time to travel and make some money. He traveled far, and finally he arrived in Granada, the Moorish tower. The enormous mountains and the elegant ladies there impressed him. One afternoon, a priest and a young maiden arrived at the Alerano Fountain. The priest's face was red and hot, and the girl helped him work. He sat down and he brought him some water to drink. The pretty young maiden capt- captivated Don captivated Don Vincent's heart. 음, 반의 딸을 사로잡았어로 표현했네. He tried to take her attention, but she was very timid. Hello there, he called, but the maiden turned red and looked away. Don Vincent began to play his music for her, but she did not look at him. She was very prostrated. Prostrated. Chapter 2. The soldier on the bridge. The priest and the maiden got up to leave. As they left the square, the maiden looked back timidly at Don Vincent, and he immediately fell in love with her. Who is she? I must talk to her. Don Vincent asked the local people about the pair. Who are they? He asked. Where do they live? That's Father Thomas and his servant Emmeline. They told him. They live in the big house next to the mosque. Don Vincent thought about Emmeline constantly. He sat outside her house and waited for her to come to her window. He he serenaded her at night with his guitar. But Emmeline did not appear, and Don Vincent disappeared. On the eve of St. John, everybody went into the town to dance. Don Vincent walked along the river and sat across from the bridge. He watched the happy couples and very envious. Suddenly he noticed a tall soldier with a gray beard guarding the the bridge. Oh my gosh, guard, guard, guarding the bridge. The soldier wore a suit of armor and had a shield and a sword. Nobody looked at him as they crossed the bridge. Was he invisible to all except Don Vincent? Don Vincent approached the soldier and said to him, "You are wearing strange clothes. Who are you?" Chapter 3, The Soldier's Story. I'm a soldier for Ferdinand, and an Isabella's army. Isabella's army. The man answered, "I started to guard this bridge 300 years ago. He followed me with courage. Follow me with courage, and you will make your fortune." "I don't want to commit the crime," said Don Vincent worriedly. "Trust me and don't be afraid," answered the soldier. Don Vincent followed the soldier. Together they climbed the hill between the Alhambra and the beautiful garden of the uh, general life. Okay, general life. In the past, this was the summer palace of the sultans of Granada. Finally, Don Vincente and the soldier arrived at a deserted tower. The soldier hit the ground with his sword 3 times, and suddenly the stones moved and revealed an entrance into a built underneath. They entered the dark build. It was very cold inside. "This is my home. It's very cold in here. I came to this room 300 years ago and I'm a prisoner here," explained the soldier. "A prisoner?" repeated Don Vincent. "That's not true. You were on the bridge. You walked back to this place. You are a free man." "No," answered the soldier sadly. "That only happens once in 100 years. On the eve of St. John, the Muslim lifted the spell on that day." "What Muslim was spell? I don't understand," said Don Vincent. "In 1483, we defeated the Boudil, Boudil, the last king of Granada. Then I have the Muslim to hide some of King Baudil's treasure here, but the Muslim tricked me," explained the soldier. "He locked me up here to guard the treasure, but he didn't return to collect them again. He put a spell on me, and I became invisible. Nobody can help me because nobody can see me except you. You are the first person to see me because you are wearing the gold and silver ring of Solomon. Ring of Solomon is a magic ring. Hmm. Don Vincent played guitar to make money to pay for his study. Don Vincent found an exotic ring on the ground. When Don Vincent met a young maiden in Granada, a young maiden didn't look at Don Vincent because she was timid. Don Vincent sat next to the fountain and waited. No. Outside her house and waited for Emmeline. Next day, Don Vincent was envious of the happy couples. The soldier was from Bordeaux, Bob, Bob Bob Dyer's, I don't know, Bob Dyer's army. And I came to this room 300 years ago, and I'm a prisoner. Here, said the soldier, the Muslim lift the spell. On the evil Saint John once in 100 years, the ring of Solomon's is magic ring. Check. Oh, I missed one and try to connect. Try to correct. Pertinent and is false. Pertinent is the first. Okay, I fix it. Chapter 4: How to break the spell. Don Vincent touched the ring on his finger. How can I help you? He asked. You can break the spell and free me from my prison, said the soldier. Or you can leave me here to guard the treasure for another 100 years. The soldier took Don Vincent to a dark area of the room and showed him a big chest with a rock. This chest contained the Muslim's treasure. There is gold, silver, and lots of precious stones in it. He said, break the spell, and half of this treasure will be yours. Thank you, said Don Vincent. Now tell me, how can I break the spell? First, you must find a priest to expel the bad spirit, explained the soldier. The priest must be a truly good man, and he mustn't eat anything for 24 hours. Then find a young maiden. He must be pure and innocent, and she must touch the chest with your ring. Please hurry. Find these two quickly. You must break the spell in the next 3 days. Don Vincent was very excited. I know a priest and a beautiful maiden called Emmeline, he said, I'm sure they will agree to help you. I can bring them here, but how can I enter this tower again? Your ring is the key. Touch the door with the ring of Solomon, and it will open. Chapter 5. The Rescue. The next day, Don Vincent visited Father Thomas' house. Father Thomas, come quickly, I need your help, he shouted. The student explained his mission to the priest and Father Thomas' eyes shone. He wanted to help the poor enchanted soldier, and he also wanted to be rich. Mary wasn't interested in the treasure. She only wanted to have the poor soldier. Let's go now, she said. We can't go today, replied Don Vincent. Father Thomas wasn't ill for 20 hours. This was a big problem because Father Thomas loved food. He tried not to eat, but it was impossible for him. On the first day, Father Thomas forgot and went straight to the chicken, no, straight to the kitchen for his breakfast. On the second day, he discovered a delicious cake on the table and ate half of it. Finally, on the third day, he resisted all temptations of food, and it was time for the rescue to take place. On the evening of the third day, they all went to the tower. They carried the basket of food with them for Father Thomas to eat later. He was very, very hungry. Don Vincent opened the belt under the tower with the ring of Solomon, and they all went inside. Emmeline touched the chest with the ring, and the rock opened. They all looked at the treasure in wonder. Ooh. Chapter 6. A surprising ending. Quickly, let's peel our pocket and then go, said Don Vincent. In how can I say this? Enthusiastically, 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 enthusiastically putting them jewels into his pocket. No, wait, said the soldier. Let's divide the treasure first. They began to do this, but the hungry beast tucked away opened his basket of food and began to eat. Don Vincent wanted to back inside to help. Oh my gosh, here. It 하고 더 있네. The next moment, the lid closed and the priest Maiden and Don Vincent were suddenly outside the tower. The belt closed with a crash. Don Vincent wanted to go back inside to help the soldier, but the maiden did not have the ring anymore. Oh no, she exclaimed. I lost the ring inside the tower. That night, the enchanted soldier began his 100-year Bizo again, and the other three walked sadly back down the hill. The jewels in Don Vincent's pocket were sufficient to make him a rich man, and Father Thomas gave him permission to marry Emmeline. Uh, the young couple moved back to Salamanca, and lived a happy life together. The poor soldier is still in the tower. Every 100 years, on the eve of St. John, he can go out to guard the bridge, but he is still invisible. Did you see him? The soldier showed Don Vincent a big chest. He must find a priest who expelled the bad spirit, explained the soldier to Don Vincent. Father Thomas wanted to help the soldier, and he wanted to be rich. Father Thomas resisted all temptation of food on the third day. On the evening of the third day, Marilyn, Don Vincent, and Father Thomas went to the tower. Don Vincent of the bird uh, built under the tower with the ring of Solomon. The soldier and Don Vincent divided the treasure, and the priest began to eat. Mela lost the ring inside the tower. Don Vincent became a rich man. The soldier is still in the tower. Check. Correct. The third story. The Arabian astrologer. Astrologer. Arabian astrologer. Go. Chapter 1. A stranger arrived in Granada. There was once a Moorish king named Arban Habus. He governed the kingdom of Granada. The king had many enemies, and they often attacked the city. But Arban Habus was strong and defended his kingdom well. One day, an old Arabian astrologer called Ibrahim, Ibrahim, Ibrahim Ibn Abu Ayyub, Ayyub arrived at the palace from Egypt. He had a long gray beard and mysterious eyes, and he did magic spell. The king liked and trusted the astrologer, and soon Ibrahim became his advisor. You must live in my palace, then you can advise me every day. But Ibrahim said, "Thank you, Your Majesty, but I wanna live in a cave in the Alhambra Hill." The king gave the the astrologer a small cave, and Ibrahim the decorated it with many strange symbols. One day, the astrologer told the king, in Egypt, a pagan art- artisan artisan made a model of model of Orion with a cockerel next to it. Every time an enemy army threatened the country, the lion turned in the direction of the enemy, and the cockerel cried loudly. What a fantastic invention! The king exclaimed excitedly. You must make one for me. I can make a better invention for you. The astrologer said arrogantly. Arrogantly. I will start work immediately. Arrogantly. Chapter 2. The Magic Horseman. Horse, Magic Horseman. Okay. The Magic Horseman. Ibrahim started to build an enormous tower with a special stone from an Egyptian pyramid. It was near the uh, Arabic elevation, and it had four windows. Each window faced a different enemy kingdom. There was a chessboard with a model of that kingdom's enemy on each window. Finally, he put a figure of a Moorish horseman on top of the tower. This horseman will always turn in the direction of our enemies, Ibrahim said. One day there was an invasion from the north, and the magic horseman immediately turned in that direction. There's an enemy army approaching, King Urban shouted. Let's fight them. Don't call your soldier, the astrologer replied. You can fight the battle with your chess piece in the tower. Hmm. The king looked at the magic chess pieces. They are moving by themselves, he said. Both sides are fighting a battle. That's incredible. The king hit some pieces and they fell on the board like that. Soldier. The other pieces continued fighting their battle. Finally, the enemy army ran away, and the magic horseman returned to his original position. King Aban was very happy. No human soldier died in the battle today, and our enemies ran away. What reward can I give you? He asked the astrologer. I want to make my simple cave more comfortable. Ibrahim answered, give me some money to do this and I will be happy. The king did this, and the astrologer decorated his cave luxuriously with exotic silk on the wall and thick carpet on the floor. Soon, his silver cave was a luxurious place, and he was happy. Chapter 3. The Princess from Guadik. Guadik. Now I need some woman dancer, Ibrahim said. Woman dancer? Answered the king in surprise. Yes, replied the astrologer, and they must be young and beautiful. The king was surprised, but he gave Ibrahim the dancers. The astrologer stayed in his cave with them, and King Abban fought fierce battle in his tower with the chess pieces. One day, the magic horseman turned toward the place called Gardix. Gardix. The king ran to the chessboard under that window, but the pieces did not move. That's strange, said the king. The king sent his soldier to look for enemies from Arctic. After 3 days, they returned with a young lady. We looked everywhere, they said, but we only found this maiden. She's from Guadik. King Abel looked at the maiden. She wore bright jewels on her forehead and a golden bracelet on her arm. Who are you? I'm a princess, the daughter of a Guatic prince. She is beautiful, I must keep her, the king exclaimed. The astrologer warned the king about the woman. Beware, she's a witch. The magic horseman points to your enemies, and he pointed to her. She will bring trouble to your kingdom. But the king ignored him. That's impossible, he said. She's beautiful and good. Will you give her to me? The astrologer asked. More women, repeated the king. Don't you have enough women? Yes, but I want this one, replied the astrologer. But the king refused it, and Ibrahim left the palace angrily. Activity. The king abandoned Habuz had many enemies. And Ibrahim wanted to live in a cave. Ibrahim started to build an enormous tower, an enormous tower for the king. The horsemen turned in the direction of enemy army. You can fight the battle with the chess pieces. King Abban was happy because the enemies ran away. Ibrahim wanted some women dancer from the king. One day, the magic horseman turned in the direction of Guardix. The king's soldier found a beautiful maiden. Will you give the princess to me? Abram asked. It's correct. Chapter 4. The king asked for help. King Abram brought a lot of jewels and expensive perfumes for his princess. He spent a lot of money on her, and soon the people of Granada became angry because they did not like the princess from Guadeloupe. They believed her controlled the king. One day there was a rebellion rebellion against the king. He managed to pacify his people, but he was worried. He turned to the astrologer. A wise astrologer, you spoke the truth. You want me against this beautiful maiden. What can I do now? Get rid of her, said the astrologer. Give her to me. I can't, King Eben said. I prefer to lose my kingdom instead. Be careful. Maybe you will lose both. Oh, please think of a way to help me, begged the king. And what will you give me as a reward? Asked Rabbi Ray, Abraham immediately. I will give you anything you ask, replied the king impatiently. Then the astrologer told the king about the magic garden of Urim. Hmm. This garden is a magic sanctuary. It's an invisible place. Only people with magic power can find it. I can make a paradise like this for you, and you can live there with your maiden, and your people won't find you. Hmm. Chapter 5. The Magic Garden. The king was excited. They built this garden for me, and I will give you half my kingdom, he exclaimed. But the astrologer did not want to have the kingdom. No, he said, the first living creature to enter the garden must be mine. Promise me this. Mm. The king agreed. Then the astrologer built a magic garden on top of the hill above his cave. It was a beautiful, exotic garden, and it was invisible. I finally finished the garden, said the astrologer to the king one day. It's one of the most beautiful gardens in the world. A paradise, like the magic garden of Rim. Rim. I protected it with a spell, and it's invisible to normal people. It's ready for you and the princess. The king was excited and did not sleep in the night. Early next morning, the king, the princess, and the astrologer went to see the magic garden. They rode on white horses. At the entrance, the astrologer pointed to the mysterious hand. and key on the wall. I covered these. They are magic talismans. Talismans. He explained they will guard the entrance to this paradise until the hand takes the key from its place. Let's go inside and see the garden, said the princess emphatically. She got down from her horse and ran into the paradise. Now I must have my promised reward, shouted the astrologer trium- tri- triumphantly. 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 The princess is the first living creature to enter the garden. She is mine now. No, shouted the king. The king, take white horses, take all my treasure instead. 제일 먼저 들어가는 거 같이 들어있는데 그랬고. Chapter 6, The Astrologer's Revenge. I don't need your treasure, said Ibrahim scornfully. The princess is mine. Keep your promise. No, shouted the king angrily. You tricked me. Then goodbye, your majesty. Majesty, said the astrologer with a cruel and he hit the ground with his stick. Immediately, Ibrahim disappeared into the earth with the princess. The king was horrified. Where are they? He shouted. A thousand workers started to dig in the ground, but they did not find the astrologer or the princess. Even Ibrahim's cave disappeared. Epilogue. The magic in the tower disappeared too. The horseman did not warn the king against his enemy anymore, and the chess pieces did not move again. The soldier fought and died in their battle. After some time, um, the unhappy king Aben died, and the people of Granada had a better king. Many years later, they built the Alhambra on that same hill. It reminds us of the beauty of the magic garden of Urim. The magic entrance still exists. The hand and the key protect it. It is the gate of justice. The garden entrance to the fortress. Fortress. Many say that the old astrologer and the princess are still underground, living under the gateway, and they will stay there until the mysterious hand takes the key and breaks the magic spell. Activity. King Urban Harbors brought a wrath of jewels for his princess. The people of Granada became angry. The king needed Ibrahim to help me. The magic curtain was invisible. The first living creature to enter the garden must be mine, said Ibrahim. Next page, there was a mysterious uh, hand and key on the wall. The princess ran into the paradise. Abraham disappeared into the earth with the princess. Abraham's cave disappeared. After some time, the unhappy King Aaron died. All creations are correct. Final checkup. Frazier and his wife carried the Muslim's body on the river Zenil. The Bible talked the mayor about a robbery. A small candle and a piece of parchment poured out of the box. But the mayor, the barber, and the servant are still on the floor in the tower. Don Vincent played the guitar for the pretty maiden, and she didn't look at him. The soldier was invisible to all except Don Vincent. The young maiden's mission was to touch the chest with the ring of Solomon. The astrologer told the king about a fantastic invention. The king refused to give the princess to the astrologer, and Ibrahim left angrily. The people of Granada didn't like the princess from Guadix. Correct. The end. I'm done. Yay. Woohoo. I read all this book. Good. Okay. How about yes? I read this book for an hour around. And I can finish my reading. I know it's not around, but I just imagine read aloud and make it clear the voice. But I feel as time passed me, it's difficult to make a loud or clear voice because I think about my sentence when I try to speak and make conversation with someone. Always I rap on my one eye's another side, and half of my mind wrapped by me, and so And yeah, I feel sometimes I'm separated half and half. Anyway, I finish it until here. Good day and good evening.